What are we going to be cooking today? I decided I'm going to do shrimp Saghanaki. It's a favorite to so many, and I ate it not long ago in a restaurant. I'm not going to mention the name, and I did not like it. It wasn't called shrimp Saghanaki, but it was based on the idea of shrimp Saghanaki. So that's where the idea came from. To cook it and make sure that you make it right and you make it delicious. The ingredients we will be using is shrimp. That's the main ingredient. It's 1.5 pounds of wild shrimp. I use the Argentinian type, which reminds me and gives me that aroma of the ocean, and it smells like the sea. It's really great tasting type of shrimp. We will have 2 shallots, thinly sliced and sauteed in some olive oil, with 1 clove of garlic, 2 tablespoons or 1 heaping tablespoon of pepper paste, oregano, 2 large tablespoons, parsley, about 1/4 cup, half a cup of Kalamata olives pitted, 4 ounces Feta cheese, 1 14.5-ounce diced tomatoes, and some salt, pepper, and the olive oil to saute with. I will be zesting the lemon onto the shrimp, and that will bring out all the really nice aromas of the prawns. We will start with zesting the lemon on top of the shrimp, so we can park it in the fridge until we are done with the other steps of the recipe. So I just zest with a fine zester a fresh lemon into the bowl that has the washed shrimp, washed and drained, of course. We won't salt it at this time because salt makes the liquids from the shrimp go out and it becomes more rubbery and dry. So the salt will add it as we cook the shrimp, if any is needed, of course. Okay, this I'm gonna park it in the fridge so we can continue. Here I have a shallot. I have showed you before in a previous video and talked about shallots, but they are a family that is in between onions and garlic, and shallots normally have 2 cloves in them. So if I cut the base here, I will be able to show you. I peel the outer dry skin like an onion, and then if you see, it's 2 cloves, and this is shallot. It is very nicely flavored, is a little bit less oniony than an onion. It has hints of garlic in it. It's delicious, and I suggest that you try it if you haven't tried it yet. Now we take the layer that is dry, and then we thinly slice. I just put it on its flat portion, and the same with the other half. We are using 2 shallots. We will also use a clove of garlic, and I have this habit of cutting the garlic in half, reaching to the core, and if there is a green sprout in there, to take it out. This one is really fresh and it's not having any, but that green sprout that normally you find in the middle of the garlic, it can cause a lot of bloating, and if you want to avoid that, just get rid of that. And this garlic I will also thinly sliced, but I will keep it on the side because I'm not going to add it together with the shallot. I'll add it after. Garlic tends to burn really, really fast, so we don't want it to get into the hot pan first. I have an induction oven here to make things easy for you to see. I've heated the pan. I will add the olive oil, about 2 to 3 tablespoons. And into this, I will add first the shallots. Make sure to mix. As soon as they soften, I will be adding the garlic and the pepper paste. And I'm trying to separate the rings of the shallots from each other, so that's why I'm moving them around as fast and just separating naturally. They will separate naturally as they are getting more tender in the oil. Okay, at this point, I will add the garlic. And the pepper paste. And if you see that the oil was absorbed, you can always add a little bit more oil into it, which I'm going to be doing now, just a tiny bit. Okay, now into this I will be adding the diced tomatoes. The whole can as is. And mix really well. And let the juices of the tomatoes pick up all the little particles from the bottom of the pot. Those particles, they are the most flavorful, and they will make a really better flavor for the sauce. At this point, I will also add half a teaspoon of smoked Spanish paprika. You can choose to have it hot or mild, it's up to you. And I will also add a tiny bit of salt, not too much because we will be having the Feta, which is salty, and the Kalamata olives. And let it cook a little bit. As soon as you feel that the juices has reduced, which I already see is happening over here, I will bring out the shrimp from the fridge. And I will add them into the hot mixture here. You remember that I have zested the lemon into the shrimp as well. This is a meal that you can cook really, really fast when you have everything ready in front of you. Now, you turn it around and you let it cook on high still until the shrimp turns color and you see that it has cooked through. We don't want to overcook the shrimp, so pay attention to this stage because we will continue to cook it a little bit further as we add the feta and the kalamatas, the oregano, and we can flambe it at the end with the alcohol. And yes, you guessed it right, I'm going to be using brandy, not ouzo, because that's my favorite liquor. And it needs to be high alcohol content liquor for it to flambe. I'm not sure if you will be able to see the flame since the lighting is not, professional, but you can skip that stage too, and it's gonna be still okay and still very delicious. Let's add the oregano. And this happens to be from my garden. I dried and put it there. Make sure that your stove is on the maximum heat. I'll add also the olives. As they cook together, the flavors are getting engaged with each other, and you have a better dance of flavors within one dish. I will add a little bit of black pepper as well. That's an optional, but I like it. Things are sizzling in the pot. I will cut almost half of the feta into smaller pieces. I will add them at this stage to the pot. Try to add them in the different parts of the pot so they are more evenly distributed. And the rest of the feta I will add at the top, at the end, and I'll put the pot in a broiler a little bit to get the feta browned a little bit, charred at the top. So as soon as this part of feta warms up and it starts to soften, I will take this pot and put it under the broiler with the rest of the feta on top of it, and a drizzle of olive oil, and make that feta charred, tiny bit charring, and it will be ready to flambe and eat. Make sure that you have a really good quality crusty bread ready to dip into this sauce and deliciousness. You can also serve it with some orzo on the side. That's up to you. I have added the rest of the feta on top of the shrimp. I'll add a little bit of olive oil on these feta pieces, topping the shrimp, and we'll put them under the broiler to charred tiny bit. I just brought it out from the broiler. At this point, I will be adding the brandy, and I'm hoping that you will see the flambe. This is a shot of brandy. As it's hot, I will also get the flame ready. I will put the brandy, and here you go. You see? Okay. Now, when the alcohol evaporates, the fire eats up the alcohol. At this point, we put the parsley, and if you wish, a squeeze of lemon, and have a crusty bread ready. Put it here. Have a crusty bread ready. This baguette I made. I'll make sure to take everything on it. I'll dip the bread. I wish I can feed you guys. It's so good. See you next video.